This vlog I'm talking about the big time major reshoot that we did this past couple weeks ago. Actually, it was about a week ago. Was it? I'm losing track of time. Time is going by really quickly. If you notice that, I guess that's kind of a good thing considering how bad these last couple of years have been. But you know, whatever. There was a scene that we shot in the movie. Now, I'm probably going to be rambling on a long time on this, so just bear with me if you're interested in this sort of thing. But throughout the course of principal photography, we shot over the course of just over 3 weeks, like a day or whatever. So we only had the budget to shoot for that time. We could not shoot everything that we wanted to shoot. We were in this big meeting with the crew, and Larissa and Rudy were going over the budget, and they were like, okay, well, we can't really do this right here. We can't do this. So I'm thinking like, well, I really want to do that. If we can't do it now, I'll just do it later. And so that essentially is what it boiled down to. We shot through principal photography about, I would say about 85 to 90% of, probably more like 90% of the movie. It's hard to quantify it, but I would say about 90% of the movie. There were still those little things that, and one kind of not little thing that we needed to just, okay, let's gather up some more money later on, and then we'll go out and reshoot those things. We're supposed to do it the spring of 2020, but then COVID hit, so that put a damper on things, and then so it became one of those things where it's like, okay, nobody wants to, none of the actors want to come out, nobody wants to go do anything, so it was months and months and months and months, and finally things got better, and then they got worse, and then they got better, and then they got worse. So it's that roller coaster. You've all been living it in the last year and a half. You get it. But it's hard to get people together that want to shoot things, if one or two people, who may be, a high risk, or like, I don't really want to go out. So I get it. It's not knocking them or anything. It's that they're, you gotta do what you feel is best for your own self, and all that stuff. I'm all about personal freedom. But it is what it is. So it's that process of trying to get those extra shots has been difficult, and we have been able to get most of them so far. We at this point just need like a couple more, and we're done. But the process has been like, we'll everybody can be here this day, and then another day, a couple months later, we can get another one. And so that's been kind of like the how it's gone. So that 3 weeks of shooting, of principal photography, you tack on all the little days of pickup shots and things like that. It's probably closer to, I would say, pushing 5 weeks at this point. Oh, definitely. Actually, no, pushing 6 weeks into the 5 week period at this point. And when it's all said and done, pushing 6 weeks. Oh wait, is my math right on that? No, so it'd be like week 4, into week 5, pushing 6. We probably won't get to 6 weeks, but pushing into 5. Anyway, see, I was talking about like I was going to go on, like, just ramble on, but here I am rambling on. Anyway, there was also, so those are just the main shots I knew we had to go get, but there was also something once I got into editing, beyond just the pickup shots. There was a particular scene that just did not turn out the way it was meant to turn out at all, and it had everything to do with the location that we shot it at. We were originally going to use torches. We had people on set for safety. We had a special effects person for safety. We had a fire medic, on set for safety, to do it safely. I mean, that's their job. But we got there, we were supposed to be able to do it, and then it ended up, well, we can't do it because the location to basically, they didn't come out right out and say it, but they did something to make it to where we can't do it, essentially, is what it boils down to. So that scene just, and there was other various reasons as to why that scene didn't work, but that got the ball rolling. And so that was, and that was just one of those things that this whole time I've been in, I was like, if we can redo it, I need to redo it. It's not working. So we finally were able to redo it this last weekend. For that, it wasn't just me, hey, taking the camera out to get a little pickup shot, because I need an establishing shot. No, we were way to bring back it wasn't the full crew, but it was, we needed a crew there. It was an abandoned mall. We had permission to be there. But we had to get tarps and put tarps all around, block out the light. I mean, it was about a 15-hour day of me being there, and everyone else probably like 13, 12 hours out in the heat. It was miserable. It was miserable. But it turned out good. And I posted, like, if you follow on Twitter and Instagram and all those things, I put up the movie Twitter. I put up pics of all that, and it was an experience because of just the location. And I mean, it sucks. It really did. Like, I feel like I don't exactly know what asbestos is, but I'm sure I was covered in it. and then you get the heat and the humidity. It's all sticking, like all this stuff is sticking to you, and you're getting bit by like fleas. It smelled like homeless feces. So it wasn't pleasant. Nobody was having a good time, but everybody powered through it. Everyone was a trooper, and it turned out great. I was really, 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 really happy. I mean, we didn't have everything I wanted to have, but it was, the thing about movies, like, you're always making compromises. It's compromises is the name of the game when you're on set. You never, or I should say rarely ever, get everything that you want. You see something in your head, you want it to kind of turn out a certain way, and sometimes it turns out pretty close, other times it doesn't, and sometimes that's out of your control, sometimes it is in your control, but you're always going to be making compromises. We can't do this, so what else can we do? We can't have this, so what else can we have? The lighting doesn't look how I wanted it to look, but this is all the lighting we have, so we just have to make it work. It's those type of things that you actually have to really to come to terms with. If you ever go and make a movie, that's definitely an issue you're going to have, is just making those compromises and settling a lot of times. On the flip side of that is, a lot of times it can turn out a lot better. Things can go right and go better than you expected. And so it was a combination of that. There were some things I didn't really like as much as I wanted to like, but there were other things that turned out way better than I was expecting or hoping. So it's a balancing act. But overall, it turned out, I can't quantify it, but if I could quantify it, like 100 times better than what we originally had. Like, I'm not even joking. It's night and day. I'd put on a scale from 1 to 10 what we had before as like a 2, maybe a 3. What we got at the mall the other day, probably pushing a 9, maybe like an 8.5. So it was well worth all the time and effort and cash that we had to throw in doing this new reshoot. It was worth it 100%. In fact, I'll probably use like I probably won't put the images in here just because I'm too busy to edit a vlog, but I will use the thumbnail as one of the pics but yeah, no, that's the movie making process. It's you're never, it's an art form. So I mean, I'm the type of guy that I'm never satisfied with when it comes to that. I mean, just look at the cartoons. Like I spend like a month doing like a feature length cartoon. This last one all by myself, literally. Just because I made like, if I'm lucky, like $100 off of that thing, off of YouTube ad rev. I can prove that to you if you want me to. Over a month's work, but it was fun. Like I enjoyed it. It's good, and I like doing that sort of thing. And that's where my heart lies, is creating things. I've always been a creator. Like, you know, I was doing like going to like district shows for like painting and drawing and stuff when I was a kid. Actually, I won a medal too for one of them. I think I showed it on stream one time. But yeah, no, it's just something I'm always, my heart's into. It always has been. So this process, while it's definitely stressful and time consuming and absolutely draining at times, I do love it. It's super fun at the same time, and I just enjoy creating something that I hope, you know, not everyone's gonna love it, but I hope most people do. So that is the agenda. And if you like it, and you know, I think I will say this is like, you may not necessarily, I think you'll like it, but if you don't, I think at the very least you'll be able to at least see the heart and effort that was put into it. There are movies like that. You can tell they did their best, and you're going to be able to tell this wasn't like a lazy thrown together type of thing. For better or worse, whether you love it or hate it, you won't, honest opinion, you will not be able to say that it was half-assed done. You'll be able to tell there was effort and heart put into it. If you're being honest with yourself, you'll be able to say that. So anyway, that's the vlog.